Our countdown of the 100 greatest video games of all time continues now. We have entered the 40s, specifically number 44, FreeSpace 2 from 1999. That's our choice.
Yeah, this is not a game that I think speaks near and dear to your heart, but it certainly does to mine. It's a Windows game from back in the day, and this kind of represents a bit of a genre in this list as well, because there were other space simulation games like the X-Wing games, Wing Commander, but this game, I think, got all of it right. It used polygonal shapes. It was kind of a takeoff on Interplay and Volition's Descent series. They took it into outer space, and they let us kind of really experience what it was like to pilot little fighter ships and take on capital ships. And there was a whole space opera kind of story told with this game, but it featured incredibly robust multiplayer. But in 2002, the source code was released and people started to mod this game like crazy. And the reason why this has this place of permanence and the reason why we're honoring it today and so high up on this list is that the gameplay was terrific and everything was done very well and very well crafted in this thing, so much so that people still are playing this thing online, getting into space battles like crazy. It's really easy to jump in and have a great time with it. There hasn't been a lot of good space combat, flight simulator type experiences since this game, and none that really resonate or hit with as much power and as much effectiveness as this one did right from the get-go.
Yeah, you know, I was a big fan of Descent, the game that this game grew out of.
Volition has made great games for so long.
And what I love about this is that Descent wasn't complicated enough. This game was complicated in all the right ways. It was heady, it was a smart game, it was a very literate game, it was a game that really had this incredibly elaborate fiction as a backstory here. But I also feel like this was one of those moments in gaming history where synergy between the technology was coming together at the right time.
Yes.
We had terrific voice performances from actors like Robert Loggia from Scarface and Ronnie Cox, who of course is from RoboCop.
Yeah.
We inherit the legacy of ghosts who haunt these ruins.
All of these things work together to create an experience that was really unprecedented, and my only wish was that it wasn't
Just a PC game.
just a Windows game, that other people could access this experience.
Agreed.
Because it really limits the audience. I mean, you're looking at this thing now, and I'm sure it looks crude by today's standards, but it's
That's
still
the thing, though. It
holds
still,
up.
yeah, it still looks pretty damn good, and it was just enough polygonal power to make convincing ships and to give you that sense of freedom, 3D space.
Yes.
It was also crafted by a team that had a lot less resources and a lot less backstory at their disposal than LucasArts did with the X-Wing franchise, or EA had with Wing Commander and Origin. And those games are good, too. I'm not trying to diss them, but it was a remarkable achievement that all of this stuff was crafted with such fidelity and such finesse and such polish for what must have been relative peanuts compared to the other guys.
You know, the other thing I know about this game, it has to go down in history as one of the only video games to ever be delivered before its actual delivery date. They finished it early. These guys knew that they had something special. They must have been working like crazy. And imagine going to your publisher and saying, hey, you know, our game's not going to be late. It's actually, we're done with it now.
Now,
there you go.
there are some space shooters that you can go and track down and play, and certainly Strike Suit Zero is something that I've kind of been grooving on recently. But this is still something that you can download and install onto modern systems. You can jump into the Battlestar mod and play with Battlestar Galactica kind of vibe that way, or you can go Babylon 5 kind of vibe that way. This is incredible stuff. I would love a FreeSpace 3. Who the hell owns Volition now?
Never satisfied.
I mean, is it Deep Silver? I know it's complicated and the rights are weird and it's been through a million different phases.
We'll hire a lawyer. We'll get a lawyer to sort this out.
Basically, I want a FreeSpace 3 or something to usurp FreeSpace 2 on this list because this genre rocks, and this is an excellent example of it. FreeSpace 2, we love you.
Vic's birthday's coming. Make it happen.